Tom Rioch, promoting successful business experts, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from Delray Beach, Florida, Chad Cooper, professional life coach, motivational speaker, and author of Time Isn't the Problem, You Are. You can find that on Amazon. So, Chad, what qualities are essential for effective leadership?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, Tom. I would say that there are 4 essential qualities to leadership. The first is courage. One of the most rare characteristics of leadership today is the characteristic of courage. Now, courage alone doesn't do you much. You have to actually take action behind the courage, or you actually can slip into force energy and kind of the slippery slope of the downward spiral. The second in the ability to lead others through leadership principles, I would say really is best stated by Admiral Bill McRaven. He said, a great organization has leaders who set high standards and they hold people accountable, but you have to give them the training, the tools, and the latitude to do the job.
Right.
And then when they fail to do it, you hold them accountable. You don't have to be a jerk about it, but you still have to hold them accountable.
Right.
So it's really important that when we lead, that we give the resources, i.e. the tools, we give them the training on how to use those well, and then the ability, the autonomy to go do it, right? Don't tell them how to do it. Let them, surprise you with it.
Right.
Let's say then the last characteristic of great leadership, not talked about very often, in fact, probably less than courage, is laughter. We can go into the ditch and we can sweat, we can get dirt all over ourselves and fall into bed sleepy, tired, exhausted. But what allows us to persevere and stick with it is the ability to laugh through the journey. So we have to, especially in our times like now, Tom, leadership is not being afraid of doing hard work, but being able to laugh our way through the journey. That's how we get it done.
Well, but part of that laughter is actually a response to enjoying what you're doing, right?
That's right. It is. It's about not griping about the past or looking to the future of when it's done, but our ability to be present and laugh at what's in front of us in the process of applying ourselves to grow the muscle. It's how muscle's built.
No, and that's part of it's not a passive thing. Leadership's not passive. So actually, when you're laughing, you're voicing the happiness of success.
Yeah, it's our ability to not take life too seriously.
Right.
I think today we've got people that are so serious about leadership, and yeah, we might be facing and overcoming serious issues, but we can enjoy ourselves and laugh in the journey and get along with the people that we're inspiring. Here's the reality. If people aren't following you, then you're just out for a nice walk.
And then we touch on the empathy, and part of that comes from showing, let's say, authenticity today. Because we mentioned that before. There's so much fake that people aren't really sure what's real anymore.
Yeah, I would say, how does a leader identify the wolf in sheep clothing? It seems to be an epidemic problem in our world, and it's actually really simple. It's a template that we need to restore and can be restored through leadership. And it's about understanding that spotting the wolf in sheep clothing is really easy because falsehood isn't the opposite of truth. It's the absence. So when we see an absence of truth, thereby we have falsehood. And that's how we spot the wolf in sheep clothing.
I'm looking at your site right now, and that site is Chad E. Cooper, right?
That is correct.
And there you're showing lasting transformation. So lasting transformation's transformation, but it's in movement. There's never a stop, right?
Well, often, I've stood on the shoulders of great mentors and other leaders before me. I had the privilege of working with Bill Gates, with Tony Robbins, and they've done all right for themselves. But what I learned is that inspiration, as Zig Ziglar said, inspiration and motivation doesn't last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend both daily. So transformation is the ability to apply knowledge. And so our ability to apply it and actually stick with it, healthy habits that allow us to do that, is what actually creates lasting transformation.
Now, and to that point, today's world, there's no end point. Things are changing constantly and every day, every minute.
Well, the name of my company is actually called Factive Nautics. It's two words that I combined. It's the ability to navigate your own purposeful future.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, we are never ending in our continual education. You know, I graduated from grad school, I don't know, probably 30 years ago. And I continue to apply knowledge. I continue to learn. And here's the thing, Tom, is leaders realize they need to be a student, but we also realize the more that we learn, the less we actually know.
Well, that goes back to number 2 of, holding the high standard and part of training.
It is. It is about holding high standards. It's not about being a dictator and saying, oh, go do this. It's about our ability to actually be able to apply it and inspire people to do things that otherwise they may not want to do. And our ability to say, hey, we know how to do it, but we understand what our role and responsibility is. Then we come alongside. If you look at great leaders through history, General Schwarzkopf was a good example. He came alongside the troops. He didn't come in over top of them. And it's one of the mischaracteristics of a leader is that they think that they come over and that they're superior. You're not. You have a different job, and you might have a higher capacity than others.
Right.
But it's when we come alongside, and we've got great examples of leaders who've done that understand how to motivate people, not how to demean them.
And it gets to the first point of having courage and taking action, right? Doing something, getting out of the chair.
Well, that's exactly what it comes down to. Just sitting back and being a theorist isn't going to get you very far in life. And we've got a society today that at times maybe we're a little gluttonous, maybe we're a little fluffy, and we got to get out of that couch. We got to go out and, you build the muscle by tearing the muscle in small increments. And so a great leader understands that it's about helping people. And I learned this in the Marine Corps is learning to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And the way that we do that is consistency and persistence in that uncomfortableness.
Very good. Well, Chad, I want to thank you. How can our listeners find you?
Easiest way is just go to chadecooper.com.
And find you on the site and also on LinkedIn.
You can find me. I think there's out there we've got Linktree or some new one that has all of the socials out there that you can connect to me. One of the most popular for my audience is Instagram. LinkedIn is growing as we're moving things on there, but Instagram and YouTube, you're going to find all kinds of inspirational pieces that we hope that you will move into transformational action.
Very good. Well, thanks again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, and for listeners, it's Chad, C-H-A-D-E, and the last name Cooper, C-O-O-P-E-R. You find him at his site, which is chadecooper.com. Cafe's networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at their site, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening to Cafe Networking. Talk to Tom, talk to the world, and listen to me, and we'll be back again in the future.